Okay, here we are, 91.7 WLFR Pomona. We have, I almost said we have in the studio, not quite. We have over the internet. I am still getting used to the Zoom meeting interviews, But anyway, hey, I'm David, I'm at Wolfert. I think I'm saying that right?
Wolfert, that's correct.
Wolfert, yes, okay. And I'm Natasha Alexandra. I'm also known as NLX. I'm combined known as the 456. How are you?
We're good.
Great.
Good.
For having us.
Hey, my pleasure, my pleasure. Thank you for making the time for this. Pleasure to have you. And okay, before we get further, pleasure on having Natasha back on my show after quite a number of years, I think. Okay, I'm guessing it's around 2008 that was?
Yeah, 2009.
Wow.
I'm on 2009. It was pretty amazing for me that someone like you, I'm driving through Jersey from Canada, stops by our studio, right? And, you know what? And I should add though, we have a brand new studio now, also.
Oh.
All right. Hey, little bigger, little fancier. All right. Hey, you were in our old school studio, I know, which was smaller, but it was quaint also, right? It was cool, but
that's great.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. And you performed live on my show also, and we just had so much fun that day. I think
it was lovely.
Yeah. It was wonderful. So okay, so you've been I'm doing that for a number of years now.
Yeah.
And these days I don't think I can really say the name of the album you were working then. You can.
I think it was.
You can say it. I can't get away with saying it.
Oh.
That's what I mean.
Okay, can I say it?
Yeah, you can. I can't. A lot of fun.
Days. Back then, it was like, oh, I can't. I got some hate mail for like.
Right, did you really?
And now it's oh yeah. People are like, how dare you? And it's a whole thing. But
now it seems like nothing.
Now it's like nothing. Yeah.
Except if you're a dude saying it. That's all I'm saying.
That's true. That's true.
Well, the term fit came from like when I was in England for a little bit, and people would say fit as in like together, smart, like isn't she fit? Like got that thing. But anyways, but yeah, I was there for promoting that record.
Yeah, great. Okay. On the other side, I'm David Wolfert. You've been a producer and writer for several famous
Centuries.
people. Give us a rundown if you don't mind.
Well, I've been doing it for centuries. I started writing songs a little more than 50 years ago, and discovered pretty quickly that I wasn't writing the good ones by myself, that I was writing the good ones in collaboration with other people. And I was very lucky at the beginning of my career to get in the room with some really super talented, super well-known and super successful songwriters who were kind enough to spend a few hours with me, mostly because through a variety of circumstances, I had access to the people that they wanted to have record their songs. So I started as a collaborator, and my first really big record was a Barbra Streisand record on Jesus, it's forever ago, but it was an album called Songbird, and I wrote that song called Songbird.
Wow.
And then which is on her greatest hits album, and then it just kind of went on from there. I just kind of honed a skill of writing for other people, with other people, and it had never ever occurred to me that I would write songs that were personal to me. It just wasn't how I was set up. I was playing in bands with people who wrote those songs, and I was listening to those songs. But really, until I met Natasha, it never occurred to me that to write songs where I was really invested emotionally and kind of historically in the songs.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Because that's naturally what she does.
Right. Okay. Speaking of which, why don't you tell us how the two of you got together?
Well, I was hosting in New York City in another century when people didn't wear masks. I was hosting a series of songwriter circle events for an organization called the Society of Composers and Lyricists, which is a group that represents film composers, of which I am one. But I thought it would be really interesting, rather than having people get up and play film scores, to have people play either the songs they had written for films or television, or get a famous film composer whose songs are unknown and just get to hear what their songs were like. And it was a very successful series. And we would ask the three performing rights organizations, ASCAP, BMI, and CSAC, in revolving order, to suggest songwriters. So I wasn't just drawing from my friends. And CSAC suggested Natasha. She had just had a song called Find Love, which was in a TV show, which qualified her for the panel.
Wow,
and,
great.
And I think it was at the Living Room, the now defunct Living Room on the Lower East Side of New York, and was packed. And there were a couple of super well-known songwriters there. There were a couple of unknown songwriters there. And as soon as I heard Natasha play, I was hooked. So I literally went up to her that night and said, we have to write together.
That's great. That's great.
And that was like Facebook reminds me that was 10 years ago.
Yeah. It was such a great night. I'm so grateful for that night. And I think I was a replacement. I think someone backed out, and like I got the whatever. Like I was on the bench.
It's funny, I don't remember that. What I do remember is that even though I made it very clear to everybody 100 times that in order to perform, they'd have to play songs, there was one guy who insisted on playing his themes for golf.
Right. Yeah.
Golf.
Yeah. Well, guy makes a lot of money writing golf themes, and they're good.
Wow.
But
sure.
it was like, that's not what we wanted to hear.
It was such a great night. Like, just as a songwriter, to be there, you remember certain moments, and that's a moment I really, really remember. It was a really great night. And that's the thing about New York City. You meet people that you end up creating beautiful things with, and that's the magic of the city.
What's great about them for me is that it's very rare when you hear songwriters, and Natasha's an exception because she's got a beautiful voice, but when you get songwriters who aren't necessarily singers performing their own songs, you hear them through a whole different lens, and that's why I love doing it.
Nice. All right, so okay, and I know there is an interesting story about why you're called the 456, or no, sorry, okay, is it 456 or 456 or which?
Natasha?
Did you say 456?
Yeah, 456.
456. Tell us the backstory there? I think it's very interesting.
I think we're just trying to think of what are we going to call ourselves, because we just organically started writing, and then we did a couple shows, but we needed to either we were David and Natasha or figure out a way to kind of like have a name. And I don't know, I don't know how it came about, but the distance between my hometown of Hamilton in Canada and New York City, which I consider like my adopted hometown or my heart, was 456 miles. And then I always thought like 456 would be like a very musical kind of like 5-6, like Fame, Debbie Allen, all
Right.
that kind of stuff. So I think that's how it kind of happened, right, David?
Yep.
Yeah.
That was it. We didn't know what to call.
All
We
right.
didn't know what to call ourselves. So I said we need to have a name.
Yeah.
And then, you know, I don't know if you've ever been in one of those conversations, but you hear the worst stuff,
Oh.
just the stupidest stuff when people think. And then when Natasha said the 456, I said, okay, done.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Especially these days, it is hard to find an original good band name anymore. It really is hard. Okay, they're all taken.
Right. A lot of them are.
Yes. Okay. So, all right then. And okay. And we have already, sorry, played your single. Okay. At the station here. Both sides, I should add. And the full length album, I think, is coming out next week. I think it's called Simple Songs.
Yes. Simple Songs.
Very good, very good. And tell us about the songs themselves. How did you go about your songwriting process?
Can I take that one?
Yeah, take it.
So every time two people are in the room together to write a song is a different experience. Everybody writes differently, and everybody's biorhythms are different, and everybody's even the two people who write together all the time, the process is often different. But for us, what works the best is, and I've actually thought about this a lot. What works the best is when Natasha comes in with an idea, whether it's a little bit of a melody or a little bit of a melody that's tied to a lyric. It's very rarely a whole song, and it's very rarely even a whole section. It's just a fragment, and I wait to listen until I hear one that inspires me, and then we work together at deciding what that fragment wants to be. And because fragments by themselves don't often have anything to hang on to. They don't necessarily have a meaning. They're just words that sounded good once when one person was sitting at a piano. So we try to figure out what story Natasha is actually trying to tell. And then I'm sorry, I'm just staring at your Kiss T-shirt that's over your shoulder.
Awesome, eh?
Yeah, I produced.
And I'm a faith band.
I produced the second Peter Criss solo album.
Did you really?
Really
I've
did.
got that. Yeah, definitely. Oh, awesome.
Out of Control. It's aptly named. Out of Control.
Yeah. I love that album.
Yeah, it's a good record. We
Wow.
as they say, we were big in Japan.
Oh wow, that is great. Oh my, well, I don't know if you saw it before now, but my show is called Strange Ways Radio, and it's after a Kiss song.
I wasn't the world's biggest Kiss fan, although I did see them live and they were pretty amazing. But I was really close friends with the guy that produced. I know he produced Peter's solo album. I think he might have produced Paul's too the first time around. And
Cool.
when it came to the second time around, he for one reason or another didn't want to do it. So he asked me if I would do it, and I met Peter and we got along.
Oh,
And yeah, it was a great experience.
Okay.
But
If
anyway,
you,
back to the
yeah,
songwriting. So what the first thing we
yes.
do is we spend a long time trying to find out what that little idea wants to turn into.
Mm-hmm,
And then
mm-hmm.
once we've kind of made up our minds what the story of the song is and what we're actually trying to get across, the actual writing comes pretty easily.
Very good. Very good. Okay. Hey, and I think I saw. Okay. Saw in the one sheet about the project. Most of all the instrumentations are from you, David. Is it
Yeah,
or is it combined? Yeah.
Natasha played piano and
Okay.
keyboards,
Good. Good.
but
Awesome.
most of the record was done kind of sequentially in my studio. So I ended up playing everything but the keyboards, and
Mm-hmm.
in some cases some of the keyboards. And in fact, one of the keyboard parts on Little Victories is actually lifted from Natasha's version of the song that was on her album. I actually took one of the keyboard parts off
Well,
her record and put it on ours. But I played
very
all the
good.
guitars. I played the guitars and the drums and the bass, and we had we brought in a woodwind player on 2 songs, on Little Victories and on Slips Away, and he played a bunch of. I wrote out an arrangement, and he played it remotely at home. He played bass clarinet, and a trumpet, I think, and a bunch of other stuff. And then we brought in 2 extraordinary string players. One of whom lives in Los Angeles, and I actually don't even know where the other one lives. But they did that remotely as well, a violinist and a cellist, and that's on 2 or 3 songs on the record. But other than that, it's mostly me.
Okay. Cool. 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 So did you record most of this album remotely over the past year then?
No,
Because of COVID, or how did this go?
this album has been recorded in bits and pieces over 7 years.
7 years,
Yeah.
really? Oh,
Yeah, but,
wow.
Slow but steady wins the race.
Hey, you got it.
And we
All
just
right.
thought that now might be a good time to share it.
Yeah, perfect time. Perfect time. Hey, all right. Any particular favorite songs?
I like So Long a lot. I think it's really beautiful. I love all of them. I really feel like they mean something to me, and I feel like I'm invested in them. I'm not sick of them at all. Like I can still listen to them. I love them. I think So Long is great. Slips Away gets me. I used to play at this bar pre-COVID, and that song was always, people started to sing it. I think that's the 3rd on the radio release. And I think Sink Like a Stone. I like that one a lot too. How about you, David?
It's impossible for me to pick a favorite. I literally love them all. I think that So Long is probably the I hate the word, but it's probably the catchiest one. It's got the biggest chorus and the biggest hook. Slips Away is a song, a really interesting song. In fact, the guy who played woodwinds on it, when he first heard it, he called me from the studio and he was weeping from the
Really?
lyric. Yeah, because it's a song about memory. It's about the nature of memory, about how you see something and it's part of your life, and then eventually it becomes a memory, and then after a while it becomes something else, like you're not sure it actually happened. The
Right.
first line of the song is "Don't I Know You? Have we met before?" Which is Natasha came to the studio and said, "I just passed the guy on the street, and I think I knew him, but I can't remember whether I knew him or not." And so it's a song about memory, slips away, which is what happens to every memory, and especially memory is a different thing at every age. Like at my age, which is older than both of you, it means a different thing than it does to younger people. I think it's I'm really proud of that song. I think it's a great. I really like it, and I think it speaks to everybody that's heard it.
Wonderful, wonderful. I'll make sure to and I must spin it after our interview. Definitely.
Right.
Wonderful. My pleasure. My pleasure. Okay. Okay. Have you? Okay. I think you did mention playing live together. Have you been able to do that much? And are there plans for the future after the COVID's over
I'd
to
like
play
to.
together live?
We did
Yeah.
a couple shows in New York City at the Rockwood, and that was a lot of
Mhm.
fun. And it's always good to let the song. I love playing live because I feel like it's you kind of test the material out. You test the song out to see what's the response. How does it fit? You know, like you can do things in a box, but when you do it live, it's kind of like really magical, and you kind of see whether it works or not. So I love playing live. So I really would love to do more shows. I would love. It's so great to play with Dave because it's nice to it's just nice to share the stage with him and have that duo. It's really great. I'd love to.
Wonderful, wonderful.
We're trying to do things online, but it's not the same. Like it's kind of like a little more in the box, you know. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. All right, all right. You know. Okay. Here's a question that I like to ask most of my guests, and I do. Okay. And I didn't have this question the first time you were on my show, Natasha. So it's new to you. What would be your dream gig if you haven't had it yet? That is the kind of show or venue or both that would be on your bucket list?
Do you want me to go first?
I guess so.
Well, like I feel like my bucket list has changed since COVID, so I would just love to get back to New York City because I'm still in Toronto, and just do a gig anywhere. Like that's kind of whatever. But if we're talking bucket list, it would either have to be the Hollywood Bowl or what's the name of the venue? Is it the Red
The Red Rocks.
Red Rocks.
That's a nice one too.
Those seem like magical. Like what? How about you, David?
I played the Red Rocks.
You did?
Wow.
Twice. It's beautiful.
Wow.
That's a great question. I think although it's not likely to happen with the two of us, I think just being a lifelong New Yorker, Madison Square Garden would be
Oh my God! Yes.
awfully awesome.
Yes.
And I would love to play the Bottom Line in New York, which closed like in 1982, but it was the
wow.
it was the greatest club ever. Like a really super pro sound system and big stage and held a lot of people. I've lived long enough to play a lot of my bucket list places, but
nice. Okay.
I could do
who did
Madison
you?
Square Garden.
Oh
Sorry?
yeah.
I would do. Oh my God! I feel kind of bad that I didn't even think of that. Oh wow, Madison Square Garden.
Yeah, that'd be the one.
Okay.
And Carnegie Hall.
Oh, of course. Okay. I know you've written and produced for Streisand and Whitney Houston and more. And you mentioned bands also. Who did you play with at Red Rocks or the Bottom Line or something?
You have to set your Wayback Machine. But I played in the in the 70s. I played when I was a touring guitar player. I played with this artist named Melissa Manchester.
Oh, beautiful singer!
Yeah, beautiful singer. We wrote a couple of songs together. We played the Red Rocks. I played in a very obscure American folk band called Pearls Before Swine, which is you'd have to look it up. But we had 100 fans, but they were really rabid. We played pretty much every college and folk club in the country.
That's fantastic.
And then I did the last time I was on the road, I played with Janice Ian. I played guitar and keyboards, and it was a Japanese tour, which ended with a week at the Budokan.
Oh wow!
Oh wow!
So
that's so famous there.
Wow.
I'm a Cheap Trick at least.
Yeah,
I'm a Kiss
and
also played there. Oh my
Michael
gosh.
Jackson. Yeah, we
Jackson. Yeah, a lot of people.
Janice, who's an extraordinary songwriter, really just as good as they come. But she had somehow some fan of hers in Japan put one of her obscure American songs on as the theme of a soap opera, and she blew up. It was like, so 5 nights at the Budokan is almost 100,000 people.
Yeah,
and everybody knew every word, and nobody spoke English, but they still knew every word.
Oh
and we
my
had this,
God!
And we had this huge. The promoter built us this huge. There was only 4 of us on stage, but the promoter and it was a very quiet show. But the promoter had built this huge stage set that was a skyline of New York.
Wow.
Oh wow!
Lit up and twinkled and did all kinds of stuff. Yeah, it was great, amazing experience.
Oh, fantastic! You know, Japanese fans are notoriously diehard. They'll be learning the English words even even if they do not understand it.
Right.
You know what? Hey, I hate to say it, but it's kind of like how some of the newer, younger American fans are going for BTS, all right? And they're, they only finally started singing in English now. They were doing it in Korean, and I just saw them on a repeat of Saturday Night Live, and it's okay, but you could hear the girls screaming there,
Sure.
Sure.
Like the Beatles did, yeah. Okay. Okay. David.
Yes.
I would be remiss as a Kiss fan if I didn't ask you a little bit more about that Peter Criss album. If you remember anything about for recording Out of Control, because for Peter, that was his first album after leaving Kiss the first time, and that was a big deal for him. I know that.
Yeah, I remember a lot. He was dead set on proving himself. He had excuse me, he had a partner. He had a writing partner who's since passed away, actually, whose name was Stan Penridge.
Oh yeah.
And they wrote a bunch of songs together, but neither me nor the record company nor their manager Bill O'Kine thought they were good enough to carry an album. So I'm going to look up a track listing right now. But so we recorded one song by the Young Rascals.
Oh yeah.
What You Trying to Do to My Heart, which I love that song.
Oh yes, beautiful.
I wrote a few with him. Out of Control. I wrote By Myself. And I wrote a song called My Life with a great New York City songwriter named David Buskin, who's actually really been had a great career on the folk scene. He's a brilliant writer. And Kiss was it was an economic machine. I mean, the first meeting I had was in a building in New York called the Olympic Tower, which at the time was absolutely the most expensive building you could ever live in. And the windows were overlooking St. Patrick's Cathedrals on Fifth Avenue.
Wow.
And the late Bill O'Coin, who was just a genius, was there, along with like 900 business people, accountants, business managers, lawyers, and Peter. And clearly, Peter felt like he had something to prove.
Oh, definitely.
And was resistant to use a lot of the studio tricks. There weren't that many available back then compared to now, but was resistant to use a lot of the tricks that were used on all the Kiss albums by Eddie Kramer and on all their solo albums to try to make them all sound better, if you don't mind me saying so. So there's some relatively raw moments on that record, which I kind of wish weren't there. But he was great. We used a big orchestra for a few of the songs. And I remember that the first day of recording came in, and the lead recording engineer was a woman, and he had never seen a woman engineer. And back then, very few people had ever seen an actual.
True.
Maybe an assistant every now and then, but it took him a minute. It really took him. It's like, I don't know if you've seen the movie When We Were Kings, the Muhammad Ali movie, where Muhammad Ali walks into the cockpit and there's black men flying the plane. Like he couldn't believe it. It took his breath away. And Peter was, it was just so it was so out of his frame of reference that it took him a good long minute to adjust. And also, maybe the most interesting thing about the record is the kid, and I mean kid, who was our studio assistant, is now the biggest recording engineer in Hollywood. He's Hans Zimmer's personal mixer.
Oh, wow.
And he's had a phenomenal career. His name is Alan Meyerson.
Wow.
And he was the kid, like, go get us coffee and, go set up 300 microphones in the next 15 minutes. And he was that guy.
That's cool.
Oh, that is great. Wow. Oh boy. Wow. And great stories. I hope you both can tour with this in the future after this is all over. And I have to say, you are both, of course, welcome in our studio. Okay, that I hope you can come. And Natasha knows who's but okay. But here at Stockton, we are about 20 minutes outside of Atlantic City, a little less than an hour outside of Philadelphia. We are like, I'm right in it. Okay, I'm right in the middle in South Jersey. If you can ever make it, play AC, play Philadelphia. Say hi to us. We
would love to.
That's great. And okay. And I do want to leave time to play your music. I'm going to round things out. Thank you again. Okay. And Natasha, tell us how people can find you online, please.
Instagram, you can go to the 456. We have a website, the456music.com. We have a YouTube channel, 456 Music. Spotify, just search the 456.
Apple Music,
the 456. Bandcamp.
Very good there too.
If
That's
you want,
good.
I can send you just a link tree that has all the links if you prefer that too. So yeah.
That's awesome.
I do want to say that that we're super proud of all our videos, but we're super proud of the video for So Long. It's if you have not seen it, Go to
Oh.
YouTube and watch it. It's hand painted, and we're very, very proud of it. So
Oh, wonderful. I will have to check it out. And you said hand painted. Did you get an artist to do graphics
Yeah.
for it?
Illustrator by the name of Michael Arthur. You can check
Nice.
him out as well. He's an incredible. He's a Brooklyn-based illustrator. I met him many years ago at South by Southwest. He was drawing as people were playing for Vanity Fair, and we just kept
we're
in
hoping to
touch.
do that too.
Yeah, it's so cool. He's such a great, cool artist. Like, he used to go to Joe's Pub pre-COVID, and as people would play, he would draw on a big screen, and it was just very interactive, engaging. And I asked him to, if he would do a video for us, and it's really beautiful. It's really special. I think it complements the song and the lyrics. Like, he really got it. So he's a great artist, Michael Arthur, and it's a really beautiful video, and we're really lucky to have it. So
That is wonderful. We will definitely check you out on YouTube. All right. Okay. Best of luck with everything. Always. Oh, he's about welcome back. And the new album's called Simple Songs, right? Very
Right.
good. Okay.
Thank you very much,
thank
Matthew.
you.
Thank you so much for making the time.
Take care. Take care.
You
Bye-bye.
also. Bye-bye.
Bye.